In this video, we're going to be doing another experiment. We're going to be seeing if older operating systems will be performing better. I will show you. Before we get started, I'm going to show you the specifications of this computer that I'm going to be working with. These are the specifications: Core i3 6100, 8 gigs of RAM, and a 240 gig SSD. Okay, first test is going to be memory usage in Task Manager. 2.3 gigabytes just idling. And we're going to see how that goes on the other downgrades. So, in the next test is going to be playing Minecraft. I'm not counting boot speeds in this video. So yeah. Okay. Now we're on Minecraft. I'm just going to be playing it. Just going to be testing this in a world. And this is all on physical hardware, as I showed you. So yeah, we'll wait. And then I'll show you my settings and then we'll test it. These are the settings I'm using for this video. Nothing too special. These are not normally my settings, but for a balanced test in this video, this is what we're doing. Okay, it's running at a perfect, stable 60 frames per second, which is pretty typical because this is a good computer, but we're gonna see. I'm gonna up the frame rate to 120, and we're gonna see what the average is now. Okay, the max frame rate is now 120 frames per second. We'll see what happens now. This is the real test. I'm getting about 110. Yeah, just about 110. Okay, final test is unlimited. Not really much of a difference. Well, yeah, it's a big difference, but we're seeing 150, 155. I'm gonna say the average is about 145. Okay, before we skip to the next part, I'm going to show you guys how to install Windows on a partition. I created a 9 gigabyte partition, and I think I'm going to need Power ISO for this, so well, wait, first I gotta test something, be right back. I gotta make sure my ISO is compatible. Okay, it is compatible, so now we're gonna go to Tools. Now that we ran it Power ISO as admin, we're gonna create bootable USB drive, even though this is not a USB drive. USB hard drive, no. Okay, I gotta see if something else will work. Be right back, my bad. Okay, my bad, this is how you're supposed to do it after doing a little bit of research. Okay, so so the name is going to be, yeah, Microsoft Windows, that's good. The drive is going to be at E. Okay, I need to watch that video I was watching. I'll link it in the description. Okay, now that I added this to the boot entry, it's now bootable. So now I'm going to load my ISO file into that drive. And then once we restart the computer, we should be able to get this done. Okay, this should be a very quick process because this is saved to my solid state drive. And this is only a 3.8 gigabyte file. For the rest of it, and then I don't really have anything to back up, so I'm going to be doing the rest of the part in the Windows installer, and because I want to keep it, since I'm deciding to make this a little bit more, what I like to do with my computers is trying to keep it to native, to where it was released at, so I'm trying to download an older version of Windows 10 for this. Little flash warning because my computer does not like me at this moment. Okay, now we're gonna reboot and see what happens. We're rebooting, and then now we'll see. Hi there. I'll see what happens. Microsoft Windows. Now it should be loading to the Windows installer. Okay. Okay, let me fix something real quick. Okay, it turns out it was not anything due to my install, so I'm gonna have to do that all again, but like, it's because I need to go to boot.wim. Wait, no, I'm gonna extract it, then do that. Okay, that's how I need to do it. Okay, so now it's all extracted to the Windows installer now, so now we're gonna try again. And we're gonna do that same setting I just tried showing you. Path, source, oh no, not that. Sources, boot.wim. Okay, now we're gonna add this as our entry. So now we're gonna edit I'm gonna delete this so I can actually rename it, so be right back. Okay, now it's Windows Installer, so now we're going to be, now let's add the entry, edit boot menu, and then now that's what's gonna be showing. So now we're gonna restart. And then we'll see what happens when we try booting to it. Okay, so now we're gonna need to see the BCP, the boot options, load, and then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yes, it's working. And the install is going to proceed from there. Okay, since we are also going to be, also going to be dual booting this, I'm going to be shrinking the size. And this is going to replace that installer I showed in the first few clips. So yeah, we're gonna shrink the size. So yeah, we'll do that. Back. We're on 1903 because 1803 was having really big tethering issues because I don't have any other source of internet connection at this moment other than hooking my Google Pixel 7 to this computer. So I'm going to prove that we are on 1903. I just took some time to set everything up. We are in 1909 actually, but we are still in the 2019 release of Windows 10. I will probably end up updating it, but I'm not sure yet. After this video, of course, but you know. So yeah, we're gonna test the performance. First of all, we're using only 1.6 gigabytes idling, which is already a difference on its own, and I haven't even applied some performance improvements yet. So we're about to see how a typical Minecraft world would run. Oh, we're on stable 60 frames per second if we're set to VSync. So now we're going to up the frame rate. Okay, now we're going to be set to 120. Yeah, stable one. This is running at about. It's running at about 115 frames per second. It doesn't seem as good as before. I don't know if it's the fact that my settings are different. I'm gonna set it to my settings first. I actually did not do that beforehand. Okay, I changed it to my settings, which is basically everything except my render distance and animations on low. And we are still running a stable. I'm gonna give it an average of 110 frames per second. Okay, this really isn't gonna be much of a difference, but I'm setting the frame rate to unlimited. Looks like we're for the most part getting around 100. The highest I saw was 140 and the lowest I've seen is 75. So I think I'm gonna give it an average of 135 frames per second. Okay, while I install Windows 7, I'm actually surprised I did not need to install any USB 3 drivers. Like, my mouse is working just fine. So that's amazing. So yeah, I'll be right back when this is done. Okay, we have installed Windows 7 and fully updated. On average, on idle, I just booted it, so we're at 1.07 gigs of idle usage. So now it's time to run the next test. Okay, we're playing Minecraft now. It's running at about I'm just flying around It's running at about 60 frames, 50. I'll give this an average of 55. Okay, now we're upping it to 120. The frame rate is generally a lot better, probably because it was struggling to be stable, because it wanted to go higher. But like, yeah, I'm gonna give this an average of about 85 frames per second. Yeah, the frame rate is legit about the same, if I'm gonna be honest. So, okay, yeah, that's it, and now we're about to make the final conclusion. Okay, as much as I love this operating system, it is simply not the best to use anymore. It is no longer supported. Its performance is not as good, even though even if it's stably like running your programs and stuff feels good on modern hardware, I would highly recommend using Windows 8 or Windows 10. So I will just say that as a final conclusion. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.